The walls of time are breaking down. You need to listen. The only way to save the universe. Watch Type 40.
Hello, long time no see, no hear. It's time once again for Type 40 Live, materialising here again with the live stream Doctor Who magazine show all across your view screen in real time on Rumble, X, YouTube and on Facebook too. We're in front of a live chat full of friends, fans and companions just like you. Yes, this is where the week in the Whoniverse starts. If you've missed it, we might have caught it, and it works both ways too. Perhaps you've seen or heard something fabulous, mysterious, or tremendously geeky. Let's hear all about it here with us here at Type 40 Live, as long as it's Doctor Who, sort of Doctor Who related. All's fair. Yes, I'm Dan Hadley, Birmingham's King of the Geeks. Welcome back. How you feeling? Yeah, me too. So yes, it's the week after the weekend before that cataclysmic season finale to 2024's all new run of Doctor Who stories. Type 40 Live continues to bring you rolling coverage, news, views, nostalgia and banter as the fan base still digests that closing instalment, aren't we? We have a console room sort of set already, ready, willing, and waiting to sort of clean up the mess. And it is quite a mess. It is quite a mess in this one. There's health and safety would have a field day in here. Is it going to get too cluttered with a few extra bodies, a few extra voices and faces? Let's find out. I'll bring them in one by one. First of all, my mate back from his weekend, sunny weekend, a sun-kissed weekend. Have you guarded yourself well, John Yulden?
Yeah, I'm guarding myself now because of my delicate complexion. In a bedroom, I get sunburn.
It's like that, is it?
It is. This is all about safety now. How are we doing?
Good tips. Yes, I'm very, very well, thank you. Quite the weekend, wasn't it? We've got a lot to take stock of. We're going to take the pulse of fandom.
Yeah.
After it all hit, we're going to get some fresh opinions too on the finale itself with a couple more people, but just waiting on them. And there's lots of white pills too. We always bring the white pills here at Type 40 Live. But what do you make about this console room there, John? It's you need a few cable ties and things. What do you think?
Oh yeah, I mean it reminds me back in the 90s when I was trying to get spark plugs in my VHS recorder. You know, it's that kind of mess.
scrambling around on all fours, blowing dust out of bits and pieces,
just
and thinking,
trying to record my mate's Doctor Who's VHS onto my own. You know, it was like that.
do a few transfers from UK Gold. Speaking of UK Gold, I think that was his entry into Doctor Who, full stop, come to think of it. We have him back now. He was very popular when he was on the show a few weeks ago. I'm happy to say, yes, there is, after all, one born every minute. And we can welcome back the very funny and hugely entertaining, the winsome Mr. Chris Walker-Thomson.
Hello. Good to be back.
It's great to see you, and you're smiling as well.
Yeah,
you poor unsuspecting fool.
That's before we get into the topic at hand tonight, I think.
Oh yes, I can't wait to find out what you thought. We've got some nice things to build up to that. Don't you worry about all that. But how do you find this weather? Because it's sizzling in Britain at the moment, isn't it, Chris?
Oh, it's ridiculous. I don't like it. I've caught a bit of the sun over the weekend. Yeah, I just can't get used to it. See, are you happy now, people? You wanted summer, now it's here, and now it's killing us.
Yeah.
And I suffer from hay fever really badly. So every time it gets nice, I'm sneezing, eyes are going, and
he's off.
Thank you all. Yeah,
It's too hot. It's back to sleeping in the bath for a few months for me. You know.
Well, I hate to say this, you may have to hide your eyes because we've got a positive ray of sunshine about to streak through. Well, not literally streak, although she has done that before, come to think of it. I'll just bring her on. It's my fabulous co-host, Shah.
I can't believe what I'm hearing.
Shah, why do I say these things?
Well, you say it like it's true, and that's what gets me the most, and people believe it. Hello, yes.
I have one of those faces.
People, you say it like it's true. It's true, you know. It's kind of one of those.
How was your weekend?
Hot, very hot. I'm still like. But we're talking about complexion. Actually, John, you spoke about complexions. I've got my trusty Coke Zeros ready so that they're nice and cool, ready for when I need them. Yeah, you got the water, have you? That's a lot smarter. But yeah, you talk about complexions, and I am. Oh, I see. Look how pale this is. Like, this is not going to.
You are. You're the queen of the quick tan. What's going on?
I was hoping somehow that it would develop naturally, but it still isn't. I just keep getting more moles on my arms and stuff. It just isn't working, which sounds a bit concerning, actually, doesn't it? But yeah, no streaking just yet. I'm actually still dressed in black, which really goes towards what you're saying about me being dressed.
Yes, it was. I did wonder if you were going through a phase last week, quite frankly. I thought you.
I know. I've still got the eyeliner
I half expected you to come on this week, and your bedroom was painted black. You got bangs.
Give it time. Give it time.
So, what do you make of this console room here? This is the first one from the Peter Cushing Doctor Who movies. There are wires and stuff everywhere. This is painted black, though. Do you think the Doctor was going through an emo phase here, Chris? That's what it was about.
Looks like he just started tidying up and then stopped. And just left everything out that he's going to sort away.
We've all been there.
The character, the character of the TARDIS is. It's basically, I'll get around to it in a minute.
I like the fact that he's got a rocking chair in there, and that a lot of things are held up with bull clips. Though, Shah, it was like any kind of office or something in the 60s and the 70s. When you see shows like Mad Men and stuff that was set in that period, it's kind of a bit like that.
I don't know what that is. I'm really sorry. But in terms of just the look,
it's of its time.
It looks like something John Pertwee should put together in the 70s. Yeah.
Right, I know. I mean, that is the kind of organised chaos that I love.
I love this film, though, because it's like, in the film, what is it? Susan goes, I'll find the fault locator. And she flicks it. And it's like, how the bloody hell are you going to find a fault in all of that?
Yeah.
The whole thing's a fault.
It is. Oh, yes. Speaking of faults, so we're going to get into that. Later on, we'll be gathering. Chris is laughing. Oh no, Chris needs a drink. Later on, we'll be gathering in more thoughts in the wake of the season finale. But before that, we're going to see what's been trending on social media since the Empire of Death ended the run about 48 hours ago, as of time of recording, there on BBC One HD and Disney Plus and everywhere else. So the gang is all here. Which one are you, John? Which one do you want to be?
Well, that's a tricky one, isn't it? Well, I'm not going to be the girl.
Patrick?
Not really. I feel like I know which one I'd want to be.
I don't know. I think I'll probably go for the scarf. Look.
In this weather.
Well, look at the hairline, though. That's what I'm focusing on.
Yeah, fair.
The bloke at the back, well, the kid at the back, he's dressed like Travis out of Blake 7. I think he's gone to the wrong show. But never mind. Yeah, let's see what's trending, what's going on out there. Now, do you remember? Anybody remember Jenna Coleman? Yeah, that's her there. Who remembers Jenna Coleman?
How can I forget?
That's the doctor
Is that,
naming
is
Jenna,
that Peter
actually.
Capaldi naming
I hope so.
the Ruby Road?
Yeah.
Christ.
It is Peter Capaldi, yes. So this 38-year-old actress, Jenna Coleman, there, when she was on Doctor Who, so she was part of the series playing various versions, wasn't she, of Clara Oswald from 2012 all the way to 2015. And since then, she's gone on to star in Victoria on ITV, that Netflix adaptation of The Sandman that's still in my to-watch list. With 101 other things, there's something called The Serpent. Lots of big dramas. You know, Jenna Coleman's had a great career since Doctor Who. But there's some fabulous news just this week has made it so she's been photographed this week in this fabulous maxi dress there. This was at Chatsworth House in Derbyshire just a few days ago. And she was there at the opening of this big exhibition of something or another under invitation. But yeah, our eyes do not deceive us. Jenna Coleman is expecting her first child there with her partner, director Jamie Childs, who she met on the Sandman. Isn't this fabulous? A Doctor Who icon up the spout.
Yeah, that's lovely.
That was
Yeah.
so beautifully put, Dan. I was going to say, you know, when people say, "Oh, pregnant people just really look like they're glowing," she looks great.
She looks
if I look like that, I look
gorgeous.
like Daniel Lambert, but like she looks like, yeah, you know, if you saw her from the back, you wouldn't know. Is that she's got that kind of thing? But she looks lovely. Good. Congratulations to her.
And we were going to keep it quiet, but you know, we're very happy. We're very happy.
She's quite a
Congratulations,
cool
John.
customer, Jenna Coleman. She doesn't tend to talk about her private life, which is obviously her prerogative. But in these pictures that were released to the media, she can't hide it, can she? You know, she's clearly very, very happy, very proud, and positively glowing. I just thought this was a lovely thing.
Yeah. Oh, bless her. That's that kind of thing.
It's nice to see Doctor Who icons sort of, yeah, I suppose growing as people, and making their way through life. So yes, the baby's due in a few months' time, quite clearly, very, very due, and the actress and her director partner haven't spoken about this publicly, but yeah, obviously congratulations to Jamie and to Jenna there. And I do wonder what they could call the baby, you know, or how they'll choose a name.
Yeah.
Maybe maybe they'll take a bit of inspiration from the latest episode of Doctor Who, where, if you remember, Chris, the mystery of Ruby Sunday was finally revealed, and amidst this sea of ridiculous plot points, which we'll get to later, was the notion that her birth mother has deliberately named her by pointing to a road sign, all for the benefit of CCTV back in 2004. I'm still wrestling with this.
Yeah, she's for some reason it's expected to believe that a 15-year-old girl put on a doomsday cloak, walked down to their church, put her baby there, and then decided, you know what, there's no one around, I'm going to point at this sign and go, there.
Yeah.
That's it. Point out a sign that was not there in the original episode at all.
I wondered if that was my memory playing tricks on me, because I couldn't remember that either.
Yeah. Oh, it's just...
You see, Chris, when you say it like that, you make it sound ridiculous.
Well, I know. If I was Russell Davis, it would be a script.
Well, as strange as it may seem, though, this could be, looks like it is catching on, because Doctor Who fans have taken to the feeds, and they are doing just that. They're following the lead. So this is a couple of Doctor Who fans who went out there. So this fan is expecting a baby in the not too distant future, and they found a road sign, and we got. So that's an option. That's one option, and another one as well there. So that rolls off the tongue. Could be a bit chavvy, but maybe a trend could be started here, Shah. What do you think?
I mean, I find that I do actually find those kind of things quite funny, but the whole notion is ridiculous. But we're going to get into that at some point, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'll find one for 30 when it's my 30th, and that's only when I'll do it. So literally when I'm like a year behind everyone else, it's my style.
She didn't live in
so I'll start doing
really.
Say it again, mate.
I said it's a good thing she didn't living finger in hoe.
Ooh.
Is that past the watershed, Dan? I think it's 8:15. I think.
No, that's
It's
a real
near
place.
enough.
It's a real place. It's a real place in Essex.
That's right. I've got a place in Leicester called Bell End. It's great.
Yeah, we've got Bell End here as well.
That's where my mum was pointing. That was where my mum was pointing.
Yeah.
Yes, so maybe this could catch on. Let us know what you think in the live chat about all of that. So what would your road sign of choice be? We'll have some comments on that too, please, and we'll read out some of the best ones. Yes, this is Type 40 live streaming as always to YouTube, Rumble, Facebook, and X. If you're in the Type 40 Facebook group, please remember to hit the little blue link, and then Facebook will tell StreamYard who you are, and StreamYard will tell us. We'll get on first name terms and have a good old laugh at all of this and all of that as well. What am I talking about? This.
Say something nice. Otherwise, I'll destroy the universe if you don't watch Type 40.
I love her. Wasn't she fab?
She was great. She was really, really good fun. A bit of a twinkle in her eye as well there. Yes, I liked her. One of the cosplayers that hangs around with Scott Goodman, I think. There's a whole troupe of them, aren't there?
Yeah, yeah. Oh, she was lovely. I liked her a lot.
And we have well, I've tried to track them down through their little their social media accounts. So maybe we'll get them on at some point. I think that could be a laugh. I know that Scott's feeling a lot better. He was in hospital quite recently, but get well soon, Scott. I think he's up and about now, though. And we've got more people in the live chat. And a wealth of messages to get to, including this one. This was from Lord Thoth, who says, "Hail, everyone. Everyone." John Yulden, that's you. You're there. You're there and here. There and here at the same time. It's good, that. It's good, that.
Madness.
Daryl Joyce is in the live chat as well, coming out with the impossible questions already. I understand now why Russell T Davies changed the Earth-Mars time corridor to the time vortex, because we all have to go along with this 15-year-old brain's misunderstanding of the plot, and the arrogance irritates me. It's yet another thing I have to chalk out. I'd forgotten about that as well. Another thing to chalk up on the board of, will that ever make any kind of sense whatsoever? Neville Watkins is in. He says, did anyone see the piece about Millie Gibson, that is, I suppose, in the Daily Mirror today? No, I didn't. I don't take a paper. I don't take any paper at all of any description. But whatever's going on with her, I mean, I do know it's common knowledge that she's not back full time on the show, if it's that. But I think that's been addressed now quite sensibly. Millie Gibson did celebrate the finale her own way. I thought it was fabulous, and she put these pictures out on social media herself. So these were trending too. So how would you celebrate the wrapping up of a huge role for you in a massive show on British TV to a mainstream audience? You get a pizza show, wouldn't you?
Oh God, yeah, that is my kind of girl to a T. Yeah,
might have to go braless and get a pizza. Yeah, definitely, even better.
Yeah.
But I just love this. I mean, Millie Gibson's.
Is she getting a pizza, or is she delivering pizza now?
Oh, could be.
Yeah.
I hadn't thought of that. She's
she should have another job lined up, I hope. I mean, she's very good.
I was going to say, I don't think she's jobless just yet, bless her.
Yeah.
She does seem like the kind of girl who likes to keep busy, though. And I could see her doing Deliveroo for a little while. Maybe she's got a couple of weeks downtime. But no, I thought this was lovely. I think Millie Gibson's been an asset to the show, Chris. I'd be sad to see her. I'd be sad to see her go.
Yeah, she's been great. I just I feel like the way the pacing of the series has been, we haven't actually really got to fully benefit.
No,
really. I feel like that's the huge letdown, because she's very good. She just hasn't had all the minutes to show it all. And I hope that I've just looked at that Mirror article. It says I think they say she's only going to be in 2 episodes in the new season.
I've just read it very quickly as well.
Yeah. Which I'm hoping isn't true. I'm hoping she's in more of it. Because that would be a huge shame. She's very, very talented and very good. I just wish we had more.
Yeah, the Mirror only follows where we lead here at Type 40 Live. We told you, was it 3 or 4 months ago, that she would be in 2 episodes of the next season. So, yeah, don't listen to them. Listen to us. Us. We've got a comment here from Daryl Joyce again, who says, anyway, evening, everyone. So I think he just wants to get that out of his system there, get that off his mind.
I feel better now.
It feels a lot better. I hope you do, Daryl. Anyway, Stephen Braddock's in the live chat. Hi, everyone. This fine sunny evening. It's very sunny, very nice here. And we have Tom from T-Dwarf Productions in as well, who says, hi, everyone. We are now in my star sign, Cancer the Crab. It was meant to be, wasn't it, Tom? It was meant to be. Gary Akers is in too. I hope you all got your Titan Hound spayed this weekend. What? Oh.
Sorry?
I think he means Sutek.
Yeah. Well, I hope so.
Yeah.
That wasn't part of my weekend plan.
No,
okay.
no, thank God I don't have one. Imagine it. Imagine if he goes, we are going to go for walks now, aren't we? Right. Yeah.
Oh, sod. I'm not gonna sleep at night now. Dear me. I mean, a lot of Doctor Who fans are dog lovers.
That's to me, though. Subliminally.
Whispers.
I want to play fetch.
It was all going on, wasn't it? I mean, doubtless all the dog lovers out there, you were cooing over the presence of Sutek, the classic Doctor Who villain, reimagined by a genius Russell T Davies as a large cloaked canine camped aloft the Doctor's TARDIS since heaven knows. Lots of people have leapt on this as well on social media, unsurprisingly, because everybody loves a pooch, and everybody loves a Doctor Who meme. So the first ones out of the trap were lots of this sort of thing, John. People putting two and two together. So sneaking Sutek into the Five Doctors. Day of the Doctor, everywhere, Chris. People are very, very quick to make these memes, aren't they, John?
Oh, yeah. I mean, the thing is, when they were writing this, they never actually thought, hang on a minute, the CGI is constantly going to look like Sutek is humping the TARDIS. Because that's what it looks like in every single picture.
Well, thank you, John. Now I can't see it.
Yeah, I hadn't looked at it like that, but now I won't be able not to. Rob Alexander's in the live chat there on YouTube and says, hi all, happy Monday, Who fans. Happy Monday to you too, buddy. Good evening, everyone, from Lady of Trakenshire. Lady of Traken, mysterious.
Nice.
Very mysterious name. Yeah, I like a bit of mystery now and again. Hello, says Psychic Beats. There's no fat on that one, is there? Hello, Psychic Beats. Good to have you back. And that's you.
Chris.
Everybody's in the live chat. Yeah. Everybody's in the live chat apart from me. Good evening, all from Wendy there, a fabulous friend, Wendy. And we've got Mark Lurseth. I'm going to have to sorry, Mark. Have to learn to pronounce your name properly. Ruby's mother was on her way to a LARPing event. It's the cloak. I get it now. You could be right. I've said stranger things this season, I have to say, Shah. I have. Tom says hi to you, Shah. You got a personal message. And Stephen Braddock says it's very hot tonight. That'll be for you then, John.
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah, it's very...
How's your head now? Are you all good? Are you healed?
It's going day by day at the moment. I reckon by January I might be back to normal.
Melanie Weston's with us again in the live chat and says the TARDIS has been blown up at least once, but Sutek managed to hang on. How the hell does that work? Several times. Frontios, there's the Big Bang. There's quite a lot of them, isn't there, Chris, if you look back through the history of the show?
Oh, yeah, there's just so many that you clearly haven't thought about when you did it, when you said this.
Yeah.
I mean, we've all had one of those nights, haven't we? We've had a few over the odds, but not many of us decide to script the season finale to a enormous intellectual property like Doctor Who, whilst we're pissed.
There was a fantastic moment I saw on Twitter. It's a bit rude to recap it its full, but it was from the Big Bang where he's holding up the satellite dish, just to try and said, well, this is what the sound of that sun is making right now, and then it's just a caption of Sutek going, "Ow, ow, 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 ow," with a lot more expletives.
Oh dear. Oh, blimey. I think we need something a bit purer, because, yes, there are the memes. There's definitely all that side. So many memes that I couldn't. We'd be here all night. But there are lots of these too. Yeah, check this out. This is from Dan WFA2 there. Got the family pooch to reenact. Now, doesn't that scream innocence now? Doesn't that wash all of the filth from your mind there, John?
No, it doesn't.
No,
I used to have a dog. And
I was
wondering
imagining
what my
that thing
leg's doing.
speaking like Sutek.
We haven't got a name for the dog, Shah. That's the disappointing thing, though.
So cute, man. That's like, it's just
I
looks
am
like a
Fluffy
teddy
the
bear.
Destroyer.
No, that is a cute way to do it. I like that a lot. I like that a lot.
Fluffy the Destroyer.
Why couldn't he have gone with a poodle for Sutek? He'd have to go for a Doberman. Do you know what? It makes no sense. Whatever. I like that. I like the picture. That's about it.
Absolutely adorable. Adrian James says, "Evening, everyone. Evening, Adrian. Happy to have you back as well." Lots of questions that we haven't got the answers to in the live chat, but maybe we will later on. Simon Anthony's back to Nosmo King. Oh no!
That's referring
That's
to
the
the
roads.
smoking sign. The no smoking sign.
Oh, I see. I was like,
You called someone Nosmo King.
I like that. I quite like Nosmo, actually. That's a pretty cool name. Maybe the dog.
Wait till you get your cat.
Nosmo Hadley. I like that. Yeah. I like Nosmo.
Okay.
And yes, as we are living in the age of AI as well, it doesn't stop with real dogs. People who haven't got dogs, like me, I don't own a dog, but anybody can generate one with AI. So this one here comes from Tim Harris.
Brilliant.
I bring Sutek's
Fantastic.
gift of cuddles.
Is that a
Yeah, I
combination
know.
of Sutek and Mrs. Flood? That one.
It
She's
does.
got the polar bear outfit,
Yeah.
isn't she? So,
Oh, wait, what? When she was wearing her E17 coat? Yeah.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Obviously, bow ties
Great.
are still cool. Hi, people, says Cyber Matt Strikes. And we've got Retro Doc coming up with more as well. Millie has been the standout this series, says Stephen Braddock.
Agreed.
You know what? All things considered, I think I probably would agree with that as well, Shah.
Yeah, I think she's been fab. It really is a testament that if you're not as involved as you should be as a companion, in my humble opinion, that you can still act your socks off. I think that's great. She's fantastic. And she's only 19. I find that amazing that she's got that kind of talent at that age. So yeah, good on her.
Yeah, it is very, very impressive, and the fact, as you say, every opportunity she's seized and delivered a great performance every single time. You know, Tony L asks, "What's LARPing? What's LARPing, Chris?"
Oh, isn't it? Live action role play.
Yeah,
That's it.
It's a rabbit hole that once you delve down, you never return. I think.
Yeah. Like cosplay with balls.
Easy on. Easy, Tiger. Mo Show in the live chat says, "Can you please ask your guest to say, 'Would you like a jelly baby?' in his Patrick Troughton impersonation?"
Okay,
I think that means you, Shah.
I thought that. I was waiting for that. I was
Go
like,
on.
I didn't know that someone knew.
Go on, Chris. Give him the good stuff. Can you manage that?
Would you like a jelly baby?
Woo!
Fabulous. Well done, that man. And we have more questions about Sutek and the TARDIS. Oh, people's imaginations have been stimulated here. Oh. Dance Monkey Day. Sidemat Strike says, "I bring Sutek's gifts of grooming." That's something, yeah, it's talking about the poodle. There, the poodle. Philip Roy's in the live chat too.
Cross, they need it.
Have you?
No. Yeah, she's a cockapoo, which I've always find hilarious.
Yeah, I do like those as well. Hello, everybody, says Fly Highland. And we've got Rose Kirby in the chat as well. Wouldn't Sutek fall down if he wasn't on the TARDIS? I suppose it does look a little bit like he's leaning on it for support.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Fiddling it.
He's quite old.
I'd like to know what he would look like if he was on this TARDIS, though. Everything's pink. I wonder.
It does. I see exactly what you mean now. It looks like my old mum when she's hanging over a shopping trolley. Yeah. Trying to work out if the fish fingers are in date or not. Yeah, I see what you mean now. Yeah. Chris's trout goes down very, very well there, as always, Chris. We have lots more comments as well, including Ashfin. Poor Ashfin, mate. It's been about 4 or 5 weeks of this poor bloke. Does anyone know what the hell happened in 73 yards? Well, I thought I did, and then they mentioned it again on Saturday, and now I think I've got it all wrong again. Shaw, I'm going to need to watch the whole thing again, or I could just ask Simon Horton, couldn't I?
I don't think you have to do any of the above. I think just.
I don't even think
it
that
blows
bit
my
was
brain.
in,
But then
was
again,
it?
quite a few. Sorry?
I don't think the reference they made in this one about 73 yards was even in 73 yards to make it.
No.
Yeah, it was like a deleted scene.
That's what confused me. So much, because I thought, well, did I miss a scene? What's going on?
We were going to get some explanation or a little bit of. No, it just happened to be something about DNA testing.
Yeah. Very, very strange. Maybe one day we'll get the answer, or an answer that we can all sort of live with and retain as many brain cells as is possible. The odds are against it, but we'll try together here on the panel at Type 40 Live, and with you out there in the live chat on YouTube, Rumble, Facebook, and X. Keep those comments coming, everybody. Those witticisms. Keep the requests to a minimum. But maybe we'll be able to fill in some blanks there about the season finale and everything else that we got just a few days ago there, courtesy of Russell T. Davies. Okay. Head back to the list.
The only way you can help save the universe is by watching Type 40, a Doctor Who podcast.
For a while.
Okay, you're going to like this. So this was also happening over the weekend. That thousands of film and TV fans flock every year to Comic Con Yorkshire, and one of several such events that happen all over the UK. This is, isn't it? And they've got a little blurb on their website, and it says, we're all a fan of something, and Comic Con Yorkshire is the best place to celebrate all things pop culture, as well as having the chance to meet your heroes, get an item signed or a photo. Many guests will also appear live on stage, so you'll get to hear directly about their new projects and favourite previous roles. So Comic Con Yorkshire 2024 took place the weekend just gone. Yes, 22nd to the 23rd of June 2024, and I'm happy to say that there was a Doctor Who presence this time, a big presence. In fact, a meeting here. So this is where it takes place. This looks like some sort of holding centre.
It does.
They round up the real hardcore fans, yeah.
Now, I won't name any names, but given the behaviour of some Doctor Who legends in the past, that may be prudent. But in this instance,
around the track as well. Is that what they do?
Oh, yeah, sponsor the doctors maybe to go around there. But yeah, we did. There were 3 doctors present at in Harrogate there at the Great Yorkshire Showground, and I've never seen these 3 guys together before. So it's Colin Baker in the middle with Paul McGann and Christopher Eccleston there. Look at Colin's face; he can't believe it, can he? Look at Chris Eccleston, absolutely brilliant. I love this picture. It never gets old seeing doctors together for me, Shaw.
No, I love Colin's Crocs. They are legendary.
Wow.
Yeah, but it's not. It's nice to sort of see these sort of doctors together. But I didn't recognise Chris at all. Not you. I mean that one.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
But
It's a severe cut, isn't it, that he's had there?
It's a bit of a buzz cut going on there. Yeah. Oh, it's nice to see him doing cons and stuff though. Now it's nice to sort of see him. I know he does it for the money. It's very, very clear that he does it for the money, but it's still nice. Yeah.
He seems to have a bloody good time doing it, though, John. So that's okay, isn't it? I don't begrudge him a payday. He's got to buy himself something nice.
Absolutely, and I do like the fact that he just speaks his mind. You know, he doesn't shield it. He literally tells it how it is. You know, so. That's great, but from everyone I've spoken to that's met him, he's been really, really friendly. But I think, didn't he say a couple of years ago he talked about mental health problems, and he said
that's right.
That kind of also kept him away from these cons for a while. But he said these have actually been quite refreshing for him. So it's nice to hear, isn't it? That you're seeing the positive side of fandom. That has a positive effect on people. So. let's hope he keeps doing
And
it.
it
Yeah.
just shows that those three are actual proper representation of, doesn't matter how long you've been in the role, or sort of how you are viewed as the Doctor, you are still the Doctor. And I love that. Love it.
It's nice to see the two newcomers, Paul McGann, a newcomer after 28 years. The two newer boys there, I don't know, just giving the old guard a true Doctor Who warhorse, Colin Baker. He's been very, very loyal to Doctor Who when, let's face it hasn't always been kind to him. And yet he's like the president of DWAS. He's Doctor Who royalty, and you can see that those two guys respect him and have a certain amount of affection for him too. There, Chris, it's just really wholesome, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I think I said last time I was on that Colin Baker there's no reason for him to be remotely as nice to the fandom or even been an advocate for the fandom since he was sacked from the role, and branded one of the worst Doctors there was. He didn't even need to be, but he was, and it just shows how much of a lovely person he really is. Talking to Chris Eccleston there, he did. I'm sure I saw on Instagram recently, like just before the event, he was on there going like he wasn't actually going to turn up to this convention because,
oh really?
Well, the organizer hasn't paid me. And then people were like going, yeah, I've heard bad things about the organizer. Yeah, he's not a very good lad. And obviously he goes, well, I was going to go, I was happy to go, but unfortunately, I wasn't paid for it. And now and then suddenly, obviously, some point between now and then, he's been paid because what do you want? Come here, come on, photos here.
Go on, say, don't touch the baby. Go on.
Don't touch the baby.
Well, no, I'm doing it. Sorry, Chris. Okay. Yeah. Ashvin says, without Eccleston, New Who would never have succeeded. A legend in my eyes. Well, it certainly wouldn't have succeeded in the same way, would it? It was so idiosyncratic. A fabulous time for the show. And it's unimaginable without him. Tony L says that's a lovely pick of Colin, Christopher and Paul. Absolutely brilliant. Yeah, this is just wonderful stuff. And there was more. There was a whole panel there. So we've got Colin with Paul and Chris again, and Nicola Bryant, the lovely Nicola Bryant in the middle with the feet up. I don't know what she's doing with the feet up. But it's just so cool to see them all together. So if you were there at Yorkshire Comic Con over the weekend, let us know what they had to say and if you had a good time or not. But they're listening intently to one another, aren't they? It's fabulous.
It's great.
I always love how Chris looks like he's so dead serious. Look at that response. Everyone else has got the smiling face, and then you got Chris Eccleston just sitting there like, probably hearing someone say, "Oh yes, back when I did the Attack of the Cybermen or something," and he's sitting there go, "What the? You know what are you talking about?"
Maybe Chris is doing his line. Maybe Chris is doing his World War III line to Nicola. Do you mind not farting?
I'm saving the world. And Paul's like, "Are you seriously talking about sacking Russell T Davies again?"
I was wondering why Nicola Bryant's cosplaying as Phil Spector there. If there's something that
I always was
nursing the mother-in-law hangovers as well.
Yeah.
Oh, bless her. Bless her.
She looks lovely.
I love it. Melanie Weston says, I knew Eccleston before Doctor Who. I remember him on Cracker with Robbie Coltrane. Cracker is one of my all-time favourite TV shows of all time. Sure.
Have you guys seen Cracker? Have you seen him in that?
Yeah, I didn't follow it all the way through, but I've seen bits of it.
It was superb.
It.
His death scene is one of the best TV highlights I think there's ever been. You have to check it out, Shah, if you haven't.
It reduced me to a gibbering wreck.
Yeah.
Wherever old I was, it changed the way. I know it wasn't real, but it changed the way, Chris, that I looked at mortality. That scene.
Yeah, it's because he was a regular, and then suddenly Robert Carlyle stabs him, and he has a whole 10-minute death scene of talking on the radio, trying to describe where he is and calling for help. And by the time they get there, it's too late. And I think it really launched his career. Yeah, no, it's honestly worth watching. Even knowing that comes up, it's still heartbreaking to watch as well. Just what a performance! It really is amazing.
Absolutely riveting. Classic
watch list.
classic TV. Obviously, other icons from other shows and movies were there, some of whom obviously crossed over because virtually everybody in Britain, if you're an actor, has been in Doctor Who in one form or another. But the pictures that I enjoyed seeing the most were these. A reunion here of Colin Baker with Brian Blessed. The Brian Blessed, there they are, slapping one another on the back. This is so cute.
Oh,
Just, yeah.
Real icons. Obviously, they were together, weren't they, on Mind Warp, the second of the 4 component parts of Trial of a Time Lord. I don't know if they've worked together since, if they've done any big finish. I would imagine they bumped into one another a time or two in the intervening years. But getting it on camera here, I just thought this was absolutely wonderful. Brian Blessed, I think he's even older than Tom Baker. He's really knocking on now.
It's amazing how good he looks, though. Just he's another immortal, isn't he? It's amazing how good he looks. He never stops.
Could be.
He's older than Tom Baker.
Yeah, he's well into his 90s now, I think.
Yeah.
Cracking. Well, wicked.
I mean,
good lad.
I've got a photo of he was at the first ever convention I ever went to, and we had a long conversation. I was 15, and he was just the nicest guy, and he just insisted on talking about anything at all. And all I did was I mentioned to him about his Blackadder appearances and things like that. And
I love that.
We bumped into him again in the car park, and it was just wonderful. It really actually was great. Me and my granddad just walking back to the car with Brian Blessed. I've messaged a photo to you. I don't know if you can get it up at all, but back when I was fit.
I've seen Brian Blessed in so many things, and I've seen him interviewed quite a lot. And I'm sure, he's done some small parts. He's done some shows and probably movies too that aren't as fondly remembered. But whatever you see him asked about, he never, unless there's like cut scenes from interviews and things like that, but he never said, don't ask me about that. He always comes out with some sort of anecdote. He seems very proud of, maybe it's just the fact he enjoyed working, he enjoyed it at the time, and he was able to pay the mortgage or whatever, and it's all smiles, it's all gravy for him. I think it's his lust for life and his unashamed Brian Blessedness. That's why every time I see a picture of the guy, it just makes me smile, John.
Oh yeah, the word legend gets bandied around a lot, but he is a legend, and it's just what I always like where he talks about how his dad, he came into his dad's house in his home and with Patrick Stewart, and Patrick Stewart was trying to teach him to sing, wasn't he? And he said, he won't amount to anything. And then years later, he telling his dad, he goes, that guy there on Star Trek, that's that young lad that came in our house.
And strangely, Brian Blessed is a massive Star Trek fan as well. He talks about that. You give him a chance, he'll go on about that for 20 minutes, half an hour as well. A real genuine character. And sometimes I still think, they should have made more of him in Doctor Who, but his appearance in 1986, The Trial of a Time Lord there, was memorable for one reason or another. I mean, he plays the big, loud, beardy bloke. Of course he does, but he plays it fabulously. And those episodes, they're still pretty popular, I'd say. Lots of people are coming out with the quotes in the live chat. Lots of room nicks and things like that here from Cybermat Strikes, as well as other Blessed related quotes that one would expect. Neville Watkins says, "Fancy Smith, Shaw? Do you fancy Smith? Fancy Matt Smith?" Fancy Smith was Brian Blessed's character in Z-Cars all the way back in the 60s, so Neville's obviously got a very long memory. He was a policeman in that show. I worked on Brian's Blackadder, says Simon there. Simon, every time you drop one of these nuggets, it impresses me even more. Strangely, the Blackadder, the first series of Blackadder, is probably my favourite. It's a very spicy take for some people. And Brian Blessed has a zest for life.
Series. It's
fabulous. Yeah. I think they've just remastered it for Blu-ray as well, so I'll have to pick that up at some point. So yes, there'll be another Yorkshire Comic Con next year. Hopefully there'll be a Doctor Who presence. You never know, but I think you can book tickets for that soon. It's certainly, the website is still up, and all the information that you need you can find in the description to the video there as well. Somebody else who's recently joined the Doctor Who family this year has also joined the convention circuit. Anita Dobson, was at Bedford Comic Con a few weeks ago, and it's wonderful to see her, another great British actress of several decades standing, a great entertainer, getting into the spirit of all things Who. Shard posing with Daleks, meeting fans, even that waistcoat is a little bit Colin Baker, and he's 75 years of age now and still has that a twinkle in her eye, and she seems very enthusiastic about Doctor Who, doesn't she?
Oh, I'm really happy. Because I mean, obviously, I wasn't alive during the whole Merry Christmas Ange kind of thing, you know, but everyone knows that. It's almost like it's a bit of British culture. So it's just nice to sort of be able to experience her acting, and my God, can she act? She can turn on a dime. Even like, you know, Saturday's episode at the end, spoilers if you haven't watched it, you know, oh my Christ. How can someone so good looking be so scary? But yeah, I was really impressed with her. I'd be gutted if she turned out to be nothing, put it that way. But I don't think they would. You don't get someone like her in for any small.
Well, you wouldn't think that they'd tease you for multiple episodes about Susan not deliver, but they did sort of do that. They did kind of do that.
But I'm talking about the hiring an actress like her, who doesn't she doesn't need the money. Let's be fair, she doesn't need it. No. So there must be some.
I hear that her old man isn't short of a bob or two either.
That's going to be the season 2 musical.
What? Just Brian May?
Yes, forget Sutek on top of the TARDIS. What we want is just like he did on Buckingham Palace for the Queen's Platinum Jubilee. We want Brian May up on the roof of the TARDIS. I mean, he may need a hand up now, but you get him up there and plug him in and watch him go, watch him banging out. I'd be completely down for that. Obviously, this scene where her character, Mrs. Flood, broke the fourth wall again in Empire of Death a few days ago. All that stuff's a bit Marmite, it's fair to say, particularly when none of us know where it's going to go. Who is she? What's she doing? Where is she going? Where on earth has she been? Well, thanks to the official BBC Doctor Who channel, we might be able to get a few clues about the latter here, because they have put a picture of her suitcase up on social media. So check it out. It's covered in stickers there. So can you make out what some of these are? What can you see there, Shah?
Pretty much, well, mostly British stuff, but pretty much the touristy places that you'd think of. Quite a few landmarks. Paradise Towers. Obviously got Tokyo, Las Vegas. I'd love to see her in Las Vegas. New York, big fan of that. Orient Express. She managed to go on the Orient Express. Did you see the Mummy? I really want to know what she is, but I know that's what's going to keep me coming back. It's very good that it keeps coming back, but I've got it in my head who she might be, but I think we might.
Oh, you've got a theory. We'll have to do a whole theories episode, won't we? Yes, I looked at this and wondered what I could make out. There's Blackpool. Maybe she went there and stopped the Sixth Doctor from arriving. John, what do you think?
I'm getting a bit worried now that it's going to be an age upload.
Oh my God, sorry. Is that, you know that one? Oh, I know you can't see where I'm pointing, but that bit we're just next to Space Vegas.
That's the Singing Towers.
Are those the Singing Towers? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, from the Capaldi episode.
Yeah. Interesting.
I love Clom, which Rose.
Oh, I didn't even notice that. Yeah. Oh God, it wasn't even Las Vegas. It was Space Vegas. That's my bad.
What's the bottom right one? I can't work that one out.
No, it's certainly not. They're like glyphs. Yeah. It's probably something from an earlier episode.
I want to know what the name tag says on the page.
All will be revealed, hopefully. Parry's Mounting, I don't know what that is either. But obviously I do recognise Paradise Towers, because he went there, and so did Mel, back in 1987, so that's mentioned. So was Clom, just like you said there, John. Now, somebody was from Clom, weren't they? A character in Doctor Who was from Clom? Can you remember who that was?
Yeah, it was Peter Kay's Yeah.
Of course it was. The absorber off in the episode. I think I've tried to block this out as well.
That was me on a night out in
Peter
Litchfield,
Kay,
that one.
apparently.
Is it that way? Is it that way, Chris? Doesn't he like it?
No, I think he said I wasn't in Doctor Who. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Would you?
I listened to Peter Kay's autobiography, actually, and he said to me, he went to the filming, and then a few months later the episode was on, and he walked in, he sat there with his nan and family, and his nan said, well, that was a load of crap, wasn't it?
Oh my God.
It's such a shame though, because I like Victor Kennedy so much.
Yeah.
I really do.
Wasn't that the Blue Peter Prize, that one? Wasn't it?
Yeah, the
That was the
absorber
one that was
was.
written in. Yeah.
Oh,
I don't
yeah.
think that kid actually tells people.
Yeah.
Oh, he does, because
does.
he's a
He does.
he's a
Man.
content creator.
Yeah. I've
It must
seen
be
him.
He's the man behind Channel Pup, the YouTube channel Channel Pup, which is quite a provocative pop culture channel. William, his name's William, isn't it? I can't remember.
Yes.
Sorry, William.
Yeah.
He's not dressed like that, though, is he, when he does his content? Green.
No,
and-
no. No,
Green with the mohawk.
Melanie Weston says, Paradise Towers, is that not a McCoy story? Yes, you're quite right. Of course it is. Darren Bradley. Hi, Darren. He said Darren's hanging out with a friend. The proper Sutek says, I hear Mrs. Flood was made after Brian visited the barber. Mrs. Flood's coat was made after Brian visited the barber. You could be right. You could be right. Ashvin's putting 2 and 2 together here. River equals flood. No. Hopefully not.
Oh, no. Please no.
I love River Song, but I think I think that's best left to gather a bit of dust now.
No one can play River for me like Alex Kingston rather. Bloody hell. I can't have someone else play River. That just wouldn't be right for me. I don't want to see River back as much as I adore her. Yeah, I really wouldn't. But she's got a little bit of a Missy look.
Missy vibe. Yeah. Well, the umbrella. Well, Missy was a bit of a riff on Mary Poppins anyway, wasn't she?
Yeah.
And that scene absolutely was.
Yeah, but it's just this, the fact that she knows what a TARDIS is. She doesn't like the Doctor, but still calls him that clever man. Like it's that kind of relationship for me. I don't know, but I kind of hope it isn't. I kind of hope that it's not that. I want it to be something different. I don't think it's Susan. A lot of people thought she was Susan. I don't think that's the case.
Sadly, I think you're going to be right, Shah.
His story ends in complete terror. Missy would really revel in that kind of thing, So who knows? But put right it, could you? Well, they did. But who knows?
Showbiz legend David Heitman, 1997, asks, I could be wrong, but wasn't Brian Blessed in Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves? He was very briefly at the beginning of the film, I believe, wasn't he? Doesn't he play Robin's father who gets killed?
Yeah, and he's put up in a cage, isn't he?
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it for a very, very long time. Eric Murphy's in the live chat as well. Eric Murphy from Entourage. Eric Murphy's in the live chat says, do you think the BBC will commission future episodes as the ratings are so low? We've spoken about this before because obviously only they know what their expectations truly are. They can get out in public and say the things they're supposed to say. That's all PR. It's a matter of being professional. We kind of expect that. But we did break the news exclusively to you just last week on this show, didn't we? That there's no if about it. Doctor Who has been recommissioned for a 3rd season. They were told a week and a half ago now. Bad Wolf have been commissioned by BBC Studios. Again, BBC Studios commission new seasons of Doctor Who, not Disney. Everybody, I keep getting asked about this.
You need to take it off.
Disney distributed. So yes, a 3rd season has already been commissioned. So yes, don't worry about that if you enjoyed it. But if you're like Smudger, Smudger 2001, who I think he enjoyed it probably slightly less. Anyone worried Series 2 will just be more of the same, considering it has already been filmed, and Russell T Davies clearly has an agenda. Russell's had, I don't like the word agenda, but he has themes, he has topics, which he insists on exploring with this show, Chris. So what are your thoughts on this? You take this one from Smudger.
I'd say it's more, I wouldn't say agenda, I'd say direction. Because I think agenda is you're applying that he's got it's the W word again, isn't it? A woke agenda, which I think is the wrong way of going about it, because he has a certain direction for a show.
Well, also, Chris, I think the word agenda implies a sleight of hand or an obstruction in some ways. If it's something that we're not meant to see, Russell's very clear about where he's taken the
word, isn't it? It's a spiteful kind of term to say he's got an agenda. I'd say he's got a direction. I don't agree with the direction, but that's. But I do sort of feel like if he's done these back to back, then there must be some similarity.
There might be.
Because I mean, like Stephen Moffat.
I also believe in reshoots.
Yeah.
Yes, they reshot some material last year. I mean, it was a very minimal amount, but it's almost. I think that's quite likely to happen as well.
I think they have to in that case, because I mean, like Stephen Moffat learned after each season something he needed to work on for the next one. He would go. He would in part sort of take that on board at some point and put it. Obviously, when you do 2 seasons back to back, you kind of have to wait for all of them to come out to then really get the whole general gist of it. So, Smudges has got another comment there saying apologies, direction. No, I wasn't implying that you were being rude. I think let's just try and keep it civil.
But their words. Now, I mean, just to clarify, their words. It's nothing personal, Smudger, not at all. But they're words that we all use sometimes. I think because they've become popularized, and we use them without actually taking a second to think. Okay, what does that actually mean? And what does it imply? I agree with you, Chris. None of this is to my taste at all, and I don't agree with a lot of the ideology that clearly that Russell does. We're poles apart, in fact. And I must admit that this season, even though I've enjoyed it, a large amount of it I have enjoyed, I have lost a certain amount of respect for him as well, for one reason or another, which we'll probably get into at a later date. Our Midwest Sportsnet is into and says, agenda is a strong word, but but the only agenda we have here at Type 40 Live is to give you more of this. Yes,
that's
news, views,
used right. Yes,
jammy Dodgers and Jaffa cakes and jam tarts and everything else, and a cup of something piping. I was going to say piping hot, a bit too hot for piping hot. Something cool and refreshing. There, this is Type 40 Live. We bring it you time after time, and yes, oh god, we have cranked out the live streams, haven't we, over the last couple of months, really, while the series has been going on. You can catch up with all of those in the playlists here at the Type 40 channel on YouTube and over on Rumble as well. So subscribe, follow, do what you've got to do, and you can travel back through the timeline here and relive or see for the first time some of the live streams that you may have missed. This is episode 164 of this show, and we've been covering the classic series, the new series, and everything right from the moment all new Doctor Who was announced and Ncuti Gatwa was cast and Millie Gibson was cast. We've covered it all here at Type 40 Live, and there's our regular dips too into the classic past there with deep dive reviews of all manner of stories there tucked away in the playlist for you to discover. Yes, there is always something to see, always something to look at if you open your eyes. Okay, it's been a weekend for the Whoniverse. Time for a break, for a doggy biscuit, I think, or maybe Shah, I might go and find a lamppost. We'll be back in a couple of minutes. Hey, still here with your early edition of Type 40 Live, the live stream Doctor Who magazine show. We've got a pedigree panel here too. So who's here? We have them. We've got Shah, we've got John, and friend of the show. Now, I think you qualify as friend of the show, Chris Walker-Thomson there. We've been helping one another out of the crater left by the passing of another season of our favourite show here, leaving the schedules for another few months. A look at some doggies. That's never not going to be a bad thing, is it, Shah? So what was your favourite incarnation of the Corgi Doctors there?
All of them. That was the cutest thing I've ever seen, and I could watch that on a loop forever. But I loved Capaldi's one, the Capaldi one. That was really cute, especially when they had the glasses and they just started nodding. That was great. I loved it, especially with the guitar.
Yeah, it's the little touches. With a
guitar, I'm in.
That's the one thing. Yeah, Sutek should have been playing some sort of axe guitar, shouldn't he? What about you, Johnny? You a dog person? You an animal lover?
Oh yeah, I love dogs, and yeah, it's got to be the 10th Doctor for me. That one in those clips, 3D glasses, just work, isn't it?
Peter Harrington says,
yeah.
Peter Harrington says in the live chat on YouTube, "Can I get the dog's portograph?"
Yeah.
The 12th Corgi Doctor was Wendy's favourite as well. It's the dog show we all need, says Melanie Weston Investigates. But Wendy's, I think she's changed her allegiance to the fourth one now. The fourth one now too. Love it, says Peter Harrington. This is hilarious, says James A. Fitzpatrick. Well, we try.
Where did you find that?
Love the fezzes. I'll tell you later. So yes, here we are for the second half of the show. So season 1 of All New Doctor Who. What a ride this has been. Season 1 of All New Doctor Who from BBC Studios and Bad Wolf concluded its run last Saturday. We followed right afterwards with a huge reaction show panel thing. Now we've had a couple of days to live with this, and we've got some new views to bring in as well here. So John and I, we've spoken a little about this already. I'm interested to know what you've got to say about it. Empire of Death obviously closed out the season on Saturday, just gone again by Russell T Davies, Shah, directed by Jamie Donahue. It starred Ncuti Gatwa, Millie Gibson, Bonnie Langford, Gemma Redgrave, and Gabriel Wolfe again as the voice of Sutek. This is Russell T Davies' first season finale in like 15 years. Great track record. I loved all 4 of the original ones. I was mega psyched for this. I love the first part. But where are you with both episodes of this show, the entire finale experience? What's it been like for you this time?
So the first part I really liked. I really enjoyed. I loved the pace. I loved the story itself. The ending was like, okay, fine. But at least because I've never had to do homework with Doctor Who. This is the first time I've ever had to. So that was a bit of a strange experience.
What was your homework? What did that consist of?
Watching Pyramids of Mars, which I'm very happy about. So at least I've got it ticked off my list now.
Well, Simon will be happy.
Oh, I know. And it wasn't a waste of time either, because I thought it was really good. But then the second part, I've watched twice now, and my parents said that they liked it, and I was quite surprised. I think I was actually on the phone to Stephen Noonan actually about that I think yesterday, and he said I think they're the probably only 2 people in the UK who liked it. But they enjoyed it, and I think that if you're in the general, and they're the general viewers, the casual viewer. I know I'm right. The casual viewers. My stepdad not so much, but my mum definitely is, and they really liked it. And I was like, fine, I'll watch it again, because usually on a rewatch, when I watch it at midnight, I'm shattered, So I watched it again, and I still didn't get it. It was just so off. It felt like it was. This can sound really odd. It felt like the linear timeline was showed how it was shot, if that makes sense, because it was just so everywhere.
It was bitty, wasn't it?
It just kept chopping and changing, and I was like, am I just watching them do
There was
scene by
one
scene.
sequence in the middle where the Doctor met the kind woman with the spoon on the planet wherever, and she seemed like I've not seen the actress in anything before, but apparently she's been in a couple of really big things. But I thought that was a lovely scene in and of itself, but it felt to me like one of the old minisodes they used to do on the red button. It was very, very strange, and it was good. It was well acted. It was nicely written, but it just felt, as you said, it felt like a bit of this, a bit of that. It had no shape. She's off.
Whew, sneeze. I could have regenerated in that sneeze. That was so powerful. I honestly just didn't. I didn't get it. I was just like, what am I watching? I don't understand it. And I'm not. At least I think I've got a little bit of cognitive ability. I obviously haven't, because I can't even bloody speak tonight.
Of course, yeah.
But I just
you've just sneezed half of it out, but
yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I just didn't understand, and then I just thought the payoff was nothing. And then
peculiar,
what
wasn't
I
it?
will say, it was peculiar, because obviously the dust comes and I see everyone getting, murdered, and then I saw, it was when I was like, not Cherry Sunday, you've got to be kidding me, because I love her.
Don't do this to me.
And then
She didn't even get a cup
Don't
at
do this
first,
to
did
me.
she?
I didn't care about anything else. I just wanted her to get a cup of tea, for God's sake. The woman's been gasping for a whole season. And then when I saw all the unit die, I thought, actually, that's great, because you want a bit of oh shit kind of feeling. And then when I saw Anita Dobson, Mrs. Flood, sorry, I thought, oh, he's going to bring everyone back, isn't he? He's going to do a what was it, Sound of Drums, or whichever one it was. I thought he was just going to do that, which was needed, but I was like, oh, you didn't need to do that.
Do you think, Shah, in light of in light of the fact of the normies that you've spoken to, and I haven't actually spoken to any normies about this yet, not a single one, in light of the fact you've spoken to family members who did enjoy it, do you think that because Doctor Who is a fantasy and culty show that passes in front of the eyes of people who wouldn't usually watch geeky stuff, so we know that that's been done in Infinity War and this and that and the other, and we know that the minute that everybody gets wiped out, that immediately the stakes kind of evaporate, because they're going to be back again, and so therefore, what's the point of going? Do you think for the normies, they don't know the things that we know? They don't detect things like that, and they actually think it's quite audacious and quite somber and quite. Do you think that's what it is?
I think you could be. Yeah, I think you could be right. I think that might be the case. I've not really asked as much, but because
I rolled my eyes when that happened. I was like, oh God, really?
I was like, oh, he's just gonna bring everyone back then, is he? Because when Mrs. Flood said I had so many plans, I was like, well, you still have, because he's not going to bring someone like you back. Thank you very much, Stephen. But he's not going to bring someone like that back to kill without anything. And I thought, actually, he probably will. But yeah, for that, I just, it just, once you get rid of, like you said, once you get rid of the threat, because you know what's going to happen. I mean, is it right? Just to put it all in one sentence, that is a classic RTD finale. That's it. That's just what it is.
I agree with you, but the thing is, I loved all the original Russell T Davies finales there, Chris.
Yeah.
Warts and all. I can see for all the things that have gone under people's skin about those season finales in like the 2 decades since they started, because they are very, very showy. They don't always make sense. They do tend to be a bit loud and blockbusterish. And whilst I wouldn't say you have to switch your brain off to watch them. I think they're crowd pleasing, and they're very much a spectacle above story. This, for me, took that far too far. I've got a very high tolerance for that kind of thing, and I like to think I'm pretty in tune with what normies respond to. But I thought this was far too much in the other direction. There just wasn't enough clout to it, or enough imagination to justify this being the end of the season. And I couldn't even see where all the money was. Chris, what did you think of this?
I followed it, and the thing that always gets in the end is that you have to hope by the end that there's a payoff, like you say, that all what you've just watched amounted to something. And usually I find, and I've found this with Russell T Davies, his stories back in his previous era, which was, I can't pronounce the thing. Is it Deus Machina?
Yeah, I can never pronounce that either.
Yeah.
I can't either.
Essentially in Greek, I think it was Greek theatre, if I got this right. Correct me in the comments if I'm wrong. But the idea was that in a play, all hope would be lost, essentially. They had no way to finish it. So a wizard would turn up and fix it. Something like that. It was essentially a magical ending would occur to resolve everything. And it wouldn't even be referenced earlier on. It'd be, let's just got to wrap it up. And that's always how he ended his stories in a majority of them.
I suppose it was, yeah, looking back.
And I mean, Journey's End ended with the Dr. Donna, which I know you could say it was hinted at, but it wasn't hinted at in that way. Suddenly, all hope is lost again, and then Donna happens to be the Doctor now, and so on. So it kind of felt like, well, this came out of nowhere. And I think the only one, the two-parter that really kind of worked was potentially Doomsday, I think, just because it kind of, the void stuff thing was there. But
because you're a writer as well, aren't you, Chris? You've written.
Yeah, but don't put me on the same pedestal as Russell T Davies. Russell was a very good writer, which is the thing that disappoints me about this story, is that he's capable of so much. And I'm not saying that his era before was all gold, because I look at it and still see the beige. I still enjoyed it, but because there's a trap of falling down that nostalgia of remembering where you were 15 years ago or so, watching those stories. So therefore, you're hyped up already, thinking, "Well, Russell T Davies is coming back. I'm really looking forward to what he's going to bring." But of course, he's not going to deliver exactly what he did. But for someone who's done some fantastic dramas over the years and so on, I find it really annoying that this is what he's delivered over the whole season, because I think I've said in the last time I was here, and it's something I've criticized the series on, is that there's no consistency or development of any story arc going across. And it doesn't need to be a story arc. It just needs, there's no sort of right pacing for any of them. In which by the time the Legend of Ruby Sunday began, it was such a left field sort of moment. It was no leading up to it. So it made it didn't feel like a two-parter. It was just kind of like, oh, by the way, shit's hit the fan in this one, you know, and
it was tonally completely different. Well, I think the first 10 minutes were tonally similar, but after that, it was totally different.
It was very strange. It went in I don't mind being surprised, but I have to refer to the payoff here. But the I loved it. I was thoroughly sort of following it and enjoying it up until, you know, I started to think about it with you know, like well, Sutek doesn't kill them because he wants to know the name of Ruby's mum. And so that obviously implied, as even Ruby mentioned, that she must be something then, if a god of all gods is terrified of this person and cannot settle, you know, finish his plan without knowing who she is. And then we just find out it's just an ordinary person. And I don't mind the whole thing that it's an ordinary person, but
in and of itself, it's actually quite it's quite rich ground for drama, isn't it? For human interest drama and for the development of Ruby.
But it shouldn't. But at the same time, you shouldn't have built up in this series, which you have done since its first episode, that there's a woman that no one can ever trace. They've never been able to see her. And then in the previous episode, you had that even the camera can't see who it is. The time window can't see who it is. And now Sutex really wants to know what it is. Show me, child. Show me the name. And, oh, it's just Louise. You know, and that's what it was. And it was such, and as someone pointed out here, Chris Lawley comment there, I just see come in. Maestro was terrified of Ruby when she found out. They found out about about this hidden song, and they hint that.
I'd forgotten about that as well.
That they hinted that there's another song there. He can't be there. He can't be there. And there's something sinister inside her that was even terrified her, and all of this amounted to nothing. Because and it ends, and that is just such a. It felt like a huge slap in the face, an insult to any intelligence of anyone watching. because it was very anticlimactic, and I don't mind an anticlimax, but it has to make some sort of narrative sense. You can't build up to it and then expect, we'll go, oh, we'll make it ordinary, and that's it. And there's no mystery. And they said, well, why was Sutek interested then? It turns out he was just bloody nosy. Is
but that's not Sutek's gig. He doesn't care who anyone is. He just wants to kill them. That's it.
I must know.
To spread his gift of death. That's what his ambition is. It's what his ambition was in 75.
Are you saying if it was back in the 90s, he would have held off killing everyone until they found out who shot Mr. Burns? I mean, come on. And then he found out the baby. Shut up.
Stephen Braddock in the live chat here says, how could they go to 2046 for DNA when Sutek destroyed the world in 2024? That's another thing I didn't understand. I've seen an explanation about that over on X from somebody who's gone to great lengths to try and weave this all together, John. And God bless Doctor Who fandom for doing that sort of stuff. But it's simply not going to wash, is it, John?
No, not at all. I mean, this whole episode was just filled with plot holes. So many plot holes that you couldn't even stop yourself falling, because the main one and the biggest one I've said all season is, right, and it paid off in the finale for me, was, well, you've got a memory TARDIS because you need to go and you need to stop Sutek. There's a 14th Doctor's TARDIS in the back garden. So why aren't you just landing in the back garden of the 40 of Donna's back garden and going into that TARDIS?
Because they're all dead.
But no, they weren't. They weren't at that point.
Sorry.
Yeah. At that point, they weren't when the memory TARDIS turned up. So this is what I mean. It's so lazy, and I think you're at a point now where, in every walk of life, you need to somebody to make sure there's checks and balances, and he clearly hasn't got any checks and balances. Throughout Who, there was always someone there at least that basically checked someone and said, that's not working, that's not quite right. Whereas it's not happening now. How that got through, I have no idea.
Do you know what I see this a lot on Twitter, and it happens almost every season. There's always someone says, oh, Doctor Who's just being Doctor Who. I said, well, no, it isn't.
Yeah.
It's not. That's not Doctor Who. That's not Doctor Who. That's like a toddler putting together a story in crayon and expecting it to fly. Your first draft of anything you've ever written and saying this is a masterpiece. That's not the same. He says, "Oh, that's just no, it's not. That's not what Doctor Who is. Doctor Who hasn't when it has been bonkers, and you can call it bonkers if you like, is on things such as, well, I suppose the production, really. The Doctor fighting off, throwing a cricket ball in space, and things like that. Various different things. But you sort of take that with a pinch of salt. But being told basically, from Russell T Davies of all people, it's Doctor Who, it's all bonkers, get along with it. And it's kind of like that thing with Stephen Moffat did with Capaldi, was with the Doctor goes, why do I have a cup of tea?
Yeah,
I'm the Doctor. Just roll with it, And I just thought, no, don't just roll it. That's stupid. He's not a conjurer. It's not. That's
not what I thought you were going to say.
I wondered as well. I was hovering over the end button.
No.
Also, as I found out on Saturday night, putting a spoon into an iPad doesn't save the universe. It just gives you a very nasty shock. So,
takes you a night in A&E.
All it does is ruin a perfect good charging slot.
Yeah.
Do you know what though? I could forgive all of that, all of it. I genuinely do. If they didn't keep hangers on like me, I will say it fine that I'm a clinger on this series. I really have been, just to sort of say, because to tease me with all these red herrings and they're not clever when this happens, leading me up the garden path, so much so with Susan, the tease with Susan, that was the only reason I was staying. And who is Ruby's mum? She's got to be someone special. People are saying, I don't mind that she was normal. Well, I do, because you give me so much to believe that this was someone who was going to be special. I mean, if someone put in the chat, Mel would have been great if it was Mel that was her mum. I would have loved that, because Mel would make sense, from where she's come from. That would be fine. If it was that wouldn't be a problem for me. but to tease me with that lovely woman there, and to make me believe that something's going to come of it, and it might in the second series, but that's not what you've alluded to in this series. That bothers me, because it means that you have led me on knowingly, because he knows that people like myself that are there to see what he comes up with, that is insulting. And I don't usually
and Shah,
take offense to anything, but I do feel insulted.
Once bitten, twice shy as well. I'm unlikely. I've struggled to invest. The reason I think I've invested as much as I have been able to has been down to the performance of the regulars, particularly Millie Gibson. I have. I think Verada Sethu next year, I mean, from what I saw of her in Boom, she looks even better, looks like a fabulous actress. But even so, I'm going to struggle to invest in any of these kind of breadcrumbing of Russell T Davies ever again. And I take no relish in saying that at all. I'm a huge fan of Russell's work. There's been his work outside of Doctor Who. I've loved virtually all of it. To the point it's got me a bit of flack on this show for people in the live chat now and again. I love his work. I just like his voice, his way of telling the stories, his way of originally, the way he looked at the show was exactly in line with how I viewed the character and the Doctor Who universe. But this is too much, or should I say it's far, far too little. And Neville Watkins says here, it felt as if Russell T Davies had all these bits and just threw them together in a random fashion, expecting us to work it out for ourselves. And then, and I think he did, and then he pulled the entire rug, pulled it all away to the point where I just felt like you'd wasted your time or wasted your brain power.
That's what it feels like. It feels like the whole season has built up to nothing, and that's the issue. There's a comment on there that someone did say, which is true, is that Russell Davies said in the I think it's the Unleashed clip or something, he was saying that. Well, he said a couple of things. One was that he wanted to, as this comment said here, it was to get that sort of online content generation.
Yeah, we talked about that a little the other night.
Really over theorize
engagement.
Yeah, and get it. But no effort on the storyline. It was just merely to get people going. But then you can't just do that and raise their hopes that much and then go, it was no one.
He thinks he knows. He thinks he knows how to manufacture that kind of engagement. Emily Cook would probably know how to do that. I think he's looked at the watch-alongs and I think that opened his eyes to the possibility of what social media could do. Because he uses Instagram, but largely he doesn't. I think he saw that and saw the engagement and the interactive quality, and I just think he's got it. I just think he's got it wrong. I'm sure.
I think he's a very arrogant. He's got an arrogance about him in this entire run, and I'm just talking about the writing, like behind the scenes in interviews and things, and like he thinks he knows it all. That's the vibe I get. Is that
it's unedifying?
I'm God's gift to television. I'm God's gift to television, and everyone loved me before. They'll love what I'm going to do now because I love it, which I don't think is quite right. But the other thing he did say to explain why he made her a nobody was because of how the audience reacted to The Last Jedi, the Star Wars film, where Rey was turned out to be no one, which they've retconned in the following one because people just
good lord
made it even worse. But
that was the fans though. That wasn't really that wasn't really Lucasfilms. That was the fans who did that.
Yeah, so he decided to do the same sort of thing. But what I've also noticed is it's very similar to the Star Wars, in which most of the answers seem to be coming from him in the interviews after the show, rather than in the show, or any hint of an answer. I don't mind something where the clues are there and you have to work it out, but you need to know at least if you're nearly right. You know, this isn't Inception. You know, this isn't a Christopher Nolan mind bender. This is meant to follow and understand, and there's got to be a payoff. To then go and say, "Oh, there's no payoff." Well, aren't you a fool for that?
See you back here next year, suckers.
Being laughed at. Almost. Someone said it was like a bit of emotional manipulation. I don't know if it was emotional manipulation, but it was manipulation of some degree, and that's what bothers me the most. Like, you don't. And the thing is, RTD doesn't need to do that. He can tell such a great story, and I'd be so on board.
I don't think they're going to now. I think this is a symptom of a bigger problem, and I think there's a lot of producers and execs worldwide now who they see it as, right, let's make something with low hanging fruit that we haven't busted a gut on, and we'll put it out, and then it'll be loved. And if it's not loved, we've got some clicks on Instagram and TikTok and whatnot, and then from there we'll go from there. That's their mentality now, and I think it's such a shame because if he raises his level to how he did things previously, you're right, it would have been a banging season, but it wasn't. It was awful, in my opinion.
Agreed.
Gary Akers is in the live chat.
It was so good. It was so good. So people were going to do the legwork for it. They were going to put the effort in because the writers and producers and the whole crew put the effort in for us to give us a great story.
They got a track record of delivering. Russell T Davies, Phil Collinson, Julie Gardner, Bad Wolf generally with their output have a track record of delivering.
No one.
But if they're not going to do that, we're not going to watch, which means we're not going to get excited, which means we're not going to give what they need.
Give a shit
because we don't care anymore. Oh, whatever.
Gary Akers says in the live chat, next season they'll go in search of Ruby's second cousin. You could be right. We've got a challenger. We've got a challenger here for the pun stakes, Gary. Sutek is a jackal of all trades, as pure historical. Dear, oh dear, I'll be having a word. We've got this one here from Stephen Braddock, who says it turns out Sutek was watching the Doctor all along. He was the ultimate Doctor Who fan, it seems. It was weird how they played Pyramids of Mars into this actual episode as well. Usually I consider that a nice touch and respectful and a bit of texture, but it was just, again, it was yet more content that felt a little bit jarring. And I would imagine that all it really did was kind of made a lot of us just think, oh, I wish I was watching that instead. I wish.
I mean, again, what for me straight away, I thought to myself, and I know me and you, Dan, we've got different opinions on Shooty, but for me, I thought straight away seeing that, I was like, that's the Doctor. When they show those clips of Tom Baker as the fourth Doctor. That's the Doctor.
I mean, don't get me wrong, John. As much as I've appreciated, I think Shooty's been. I thought he was outstanding in The Legend of Ruby Sunday, and I think he's delivered a couple of really strong performances in this season. He's nowhere near sort of there yet. What he could be. My great fear for Shooty Gatwa's Doctor, is that he may never actually fulfill the potential that he's got because of the mismanagement of the show and of him. It'd be a terrible shame if it doesn't happen, because I think he's got it. I think he's got something that we haven't seen before.
I do.
I will give credit where it's due. At the end of that episode, and I didn't like this episode, when he's in the TARDIS in that outfit, I thought, he's arrived as a Doctor now. He's got an outfit.
You got your Doctor
cried again. I've not seen him. I've not remotely thought that's Doctor-y for me. And I know we agree to disagree, but it just and I think for this as well, that emotional scene he did at the end with Ruby, and he has a tear at the end. Well, you don't really care about it because he's done that throughout the whole season.
Yeah, he's cried each one, hasn't he?
It's diminished it.
Good point.
Yeah.
Who directed all of those?
This was Jamie Donahue, who directed both parts of the season finale. I think he did a pretty decent job of this, but giving
visually it was
outstanding.
Visually outstanding, I thought.
Gorgeously sharp.
I mean, even Sutek being leashed around the vortex looked amazing. That's
what I will say, if I can, I think that Bonnie Langford was absolutely amazing.
Oh,
incredible!
Standout.
Yeah,
I would love her to be the companion again. I would love it.
I think for me, and I've said this before, but when Shooty, is when I look at Doctor moments, and I think, and I can't help it as a Doctor Who fan, when Shooty is at their TARDIS doors and he's screaming and he's got tears coming out, I'm looking at past Doctors and I'm thinking, would the third Doctor or fourth Doctor do that? No, they would dust themselves down and they would go, right, let's work the problem. That's my view of
Have we ever seen any of those earlier incarnations? I'm playing devil's advocate here.
Yeah, I know you are.
Have we ever seen any of those earlier incarnations put in a place? Because this is where I feel there is the seed in the middle of this of something that a place that could have been worth going. The idea that the Doctor is put in a place where he looks at his own behaviour, the way he's lived his life, and thinks, I've indulged this instinct of mine to just travel. Remember how the Doctor, when he talks to Sutek in Pyramids of Mars, I'm just a traveller.
Just a traveller.
He indulges that desire, that appetite to see more, incarnation after incarnation after incarnation. And this is the consequence of him indulging that. I think that's really rich territory.
I think
that's
really
reasonably well written, and I think Shooty plays it quite nicely. But unfortunately, it moves on from that far, far too quickly. This should have been. I think that this two-parter would have worked better as a three-parter. I think because this should have been the cliffhanger to episode 2. If it was 3 parts, this should have been the cliffhanger to episode 2. The Doctor in experiencing an almost psychological pain that I was having fun and trying to do my bit where I could, and it's all backfired. But because it's left there, we're immediately onto something else a few minutes later, and 10 minutes after that, the whole thing's wrapped up.
See, for me, leading on to that as well, I'm going to mention Bonnie Langford again, because for me, what resonates with me as a viewer and as a Doctor Who fan is I love the stoic elements, and I love the fact that she is there. She's sat against the memory TARDIS doors, and she's slowly being possessed by Sutek. Doesn't cry. She doesn't let out a scream. She is just trying to fight that battle. And I think that is wonderful acting, and I think that she was on a level above Shooty with that.
She was above everybody.
She was.
Susan Twist was good in this, and she's been good all year. But Bonnie Langford is a class above all of them, I'm afraid. Yeah.
Which is not something you will always say.
No.
And remember, Dan, a few weeks back when we were talking about Bonnie Langford coming back, I was saying it, you were saying it. We thought she wasn't well written in the original time she was on Doctor Who, but we just wanted her to be, to have some justice done for her. And I think of all the criticisms we can give Russell T Davies for this story, I think Bonnie Langford and the character of Mal was well served in these 2 parts.
Definitely.
I agree.
And I would have
that as
her
well.
back instantly.
There's been more development.
So proud of it.
There was more development of the character of Mel in these 2 episodes than there was in the how many did she make back in the day? There was like 14 episodes, and plus another 6. There's 20 episodes. Bonnie Langford's been out there too on the chat show circuit this week. Doesn't she look gorgeous as well? I'm getting a bit of a crush on Bonnie Langford. What's wrong with me? She's going to be 60 if she's a
pretty
but she looks
woman.
lovely. She's there smiling. She is a fabulous ambassador for this show, for this brand. When everybody else can't seem to help themselves but say divisive things, there's Bonnie smiling, being engaging, loving the material, being completely transparent about it. It's impossible not to respond to that, not to love her. And say what you like about the current unit squad there. It's unimaginable now without Mel being there. She seems the most capable of all of them, including Kate Lethbridge-Stewart, who we've also seen on screen for 12 years now. And you're quite right. Bonnie has spoken about this over the weekend. So if you've seen the on-screen commentaries that they're doing on the BBC, I think they're on the red button, are they? So there's been in-vision commentaries on each episode with Russell T Davies, or most episodes with Russell and people from the cast or crew. And there was one to go with Empire of Death. So I'm glad you mentioned this, Chris. She was on this track. So she's there, sat with Russell and somebody else. I think that's Vicky Dello, isn't it, the producer? So there they are watching the episode. And Bonnie says during the commentary track, so proud and so grateful that I'm part of this. This is the saving grace of this episode that we've all had to sit through that wasn't that good. I'm so proud and so grateful that I'm part of this, she said, because I'm really proud of this. Whereas I was never proud of being in it before. So all these years, this is over 3 decades, nearly 4 decades of this woman's life, of this professional's life. and she's never been proud. She was never proud the entire time. And she said, she finished off with saying, I wasn't proud of myself. For a consummate professional, that must have been quite difficult to live with too, Chris.
Oh,
It was through no fault of hers, was it really? She was very young.
No. And I mean, I didn't quite take to her when I watched her episodes in the original. I a lot too screamy and so on. It was quite off-putting, but
It's a very earnest performance, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a very off-putting performance at the time. So it's so when I heard she was coming back, I thought, oh really? But as you say, yeah, no, it gave her some justice, which is nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, it made me think of Power of the Doctor, because I don't feel like, I think Ace was written better than Tegan, but I just don't feel like they were done justice with their character. This is a great example of how you bring a character back and make her beloved, because I didn't like Mel either. I appreciate that Big Finish is different, but I just haven't really listened to Big Finish. But in this, it's proof that she's a wonderful actress and she can do it if she's given the correct writing. So I'm really, really pleased.
And look how much fun. Look at the chemistry between those two. I know I said the other day, but there's a natural chemistry between Bonnie Langford and Ncuti Gatwa. I know Millie's a lot younger an actress. It doesn't come so naturally for Gatwa with Gibson. I think it's clear that they have to work for that chemistry. But yeah, it's just wonderful to see stuff like this. Bring back Bonnie ASAP. That's what I say. Let's take a look at some more comments here. I'd have her back full time, absolutely. We have, yes, this is one from Ashvin that you're talking about there, Chris. Russell T Davies literally said this was all for content generation, not storytelling. A massive error of judgment. Daryl Joyce says, why buy an iPad when you can just rip a TV screen out of an old tube TV?
Yeah.
Oh, God. Russell T Davies should, in the back of his mind, be writing to add on to the next Add to the Adventure, but he's muddying the waters, says Peter Harrington.
Well, Peter's right there, because remember at the beginning he said, oh, we're not going to dwell on the classic series of Doctor Who. Or along those lines.
And quite right as well. Quite right.
Yeah, and then he brings Sutik back for a finale.
And then shows clips of his episode, didn't there? And, what I feel like
two people. Dan's right.
I find that Russell T Davies just didn't think anything through at all, which is where a script editor would really come in. I know there is a script editor because he's credited.
There's three.
There's
Scott Hancock's one, and there's a couple more.
Well, I hope they enjoyed the coffee they were having and taking their phones. But I feel like they should have checked the scripts a bit more, because so many bits were contradictory over the course of the season, let alone its history.
We'll talk about contradictions. How about 13-year-old Maurice Gibbons there? Now, if you remember, not that long,
firing a gun.
Not that long ago, Russell T
Davies. A sonic screwdriver. A sonic screwdriver looks like just one little tube. Oh, kids will think it's a gun. Oh yes, but let's change it to a remote control, and then it's nowhere near as dangerous. But here's a 13-year-old. Well, 15-year-old playing a 13-year-old firing an automatic fucking weapon. Sorry, pardon my French.
No, you're right.
All right. It's quite all right.
Shirley's got rockets in her wheelchair. Like, hello.
And I have double checked with my sources, and the Agent Morris spin-off series will be announced in the next week. He will be traveling the world on that, and he'll be paid by pizza slices, and he'll be fighting alien monsters. So keep an eye out for it, because it's going to be great.
I did find something funny actually, which is someone said, because I still find it hilarious that people actually paid to go and see this in a cinema at midnight as well. This is mental. Like, how much was that? 15 quid or something like that? Yeah, £15 you paid to stay up late to watch it. But
apparently they brought in a few 100,000, which doesn't sound too bad until you remember that Day of the Doctor brought in something like 2.1 million. Yeah.
That's 12 tickets.
Yeah. A Pure Historical says, can I just congratulate Scott Hancock on his magnificent script editing? Did he actually do anything? Oh, that's right, they're mates. He wouldn't dare say no to Russell T Davies. Russell T Davies boasted about the fact that nobody would say no to him in a recent... And I think it could have been tongue-in-cheek, but it might not be, because the fact is it's true.
To be honest,
that's what I was worried about.
Show, isn't it? It's his own company. They produce his own writing. I think he'll do whatever... He'll just be allowed to do whatever he wants. I think the script editor's there just to tidy the punctuation, if anything.
Big grammatical errors.
Can I mention that scene as well? Sorry, about one of my gripes as well from the episode that isn't a plot hole. Right, when they come back, Kate goes to Susan Twist and basically says, so she says, "I'm a normal person now," and she goes, "Do you want a job?"
Yeah.
Without any vetting whatsoever. That's like the
I
equivalent.
mean, that's
of
a
me
key
walking down
person
the
you'd
street.
vet, isn't it? I mean,
Yeah.
that's probably why she employs. That's probably why she employs children, because there's not much vetting to do.
Hmm.
Well, just speaking of that, what did Rose do? I saw her playing around on an iPad when everyone was shooting up
Playing Candy
shooting
Crush.
up Zuzek. Yeah, but I was just like, Yasmin, surely you've got something like you want to be doing more than that, darling. Like you've waited around for days just to shoot that, and I felt a bit sorry for her. Actually, I feel like, you know, if you're going to be given a part, be given a part. She was a bit more like an extra.
She must have
I
got
felt
a
a bit
month's
Well,
rent.
Well, the unfortunate side to this is that I think that Yasmin Finney has given a nice enough performance in this part when she's actually spoken, both here and in Star Beast. But this is where this plays into the hands. Well, not into the hands, but this plays to the idea that people such as Yasmin have been cast to tick a box and to be present, just to be visible, not actually contribute anything. I don't know if Russell would be aware of how it looks, and that probably wasn't the intention, but that is how it looks, and that is how people will receive this, because it's so glaring. I'm afraid it's unfair on the actress herself. It's silly to expect the viewing public not to notice somebody just standing around smiling, tapping on an iPad like it's the first time they've seen it.
But she was doing
He's not
that.
helping.
No, it was like meant to be a big moment of, you know, all hands on deck, get fighting Sutek, and she was just standing in the back, and I thought, what is she doing there? Because surely any actress deserves to at least speak. So I just felt a bit sorry for her, if I'm being honest.
You know, that image as well that you put up just then, if I hadn't watched the episode, I actually would have thought that's some sort of musical because of the way they're stood. It's like, you know, they're about to break into song and dance, you know. It's just, maybe they are. Maybe that was a cutscene. I don't know.
Chris Lawley says, Russell T Davies is a great writer. I don't understand what he's doing with this. It could be simply that I hate to say it could be simply that he's all out of ideas. I feel sorry for the soldier in front of Morris when he was firing that gun, says Melanie West.
Yeah. Oh, that was the thing I was going to say that I heard about when people did go to see the cinema screenings. Apparently some cheered when the Vlinks got his head blown off. I love the
Vlinks.
So
he's all right in the end, wouldn't he?
Yeah. Even though
I wonder if he'll get up and walk about at some point. Do you think they may give him legs? He could be like the bloke out the Orville. What's his name? The android in the Orville.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. What is his name?
Bring the android.
I love that show.
I loved it for a few months. Isaac, yes, of course it is. Of course it is. Over the Overseer says, remember, Yasmin is an adult playing a child too. I get the impression this is sometime after the giggle, though, because Rose says to the Doctor, it's been quite a while. It's been a long time when they hug. So I get the impression it is some while later. Presumably, she'd now be 18 plus. I don't know. I mean, I suppose it's neither here nor there, but that's the impression that I get. Again, let us know in the comments if I've imagined that, because I haven't gone back and rewatched it yet.
Yeah.
Tokenistic casting, says Who Fan Dan. I'm afraid so. I'm afraid that is how it looks. I mean, it's different in the Star Beast because clearly you could see what the themes of that story were, where some of the drama was.
Yeah.
But this, keeping the character on, just for the sake of it. I think it does the actress a misservice. Stephen Braddock suggests that a unit musical should be next season. No more musicals, please. God, I hope it's.
They're going to move for a spin-off, though. It just feels like they're so pushing in for that backdoor spin-off
You could be
I
right.
wouldn't mind a unit spin-off if they had really decent people in it. I don't mind seeing Kate. I don't mind seeing Philip. Is it Philip Morris? What's his name? Morris. Something Morris.
Morris Gibbons.
Morris
Hang on, no, hang
Morris
on. Morris
Gibbons.
Gibbons.
Who's Philip
Penny Rush.
Morris? I feel like I'm. But,
Wasn't Morris Gibbons one of the Bee Gees?
Yeah.
No,
Oh,
I
I'm
don't
getting
know.
so-
I actually quite like
too.
him.
Getting so confused. Yeah, I liked him as well. I know, like a lot of children in sci-fi, Wesley Crusher, Adric, all that legacy, people don't like Morris Gibbons. I think it's harmless. I think it's kind of cool, kind of sweet, particularly for the kids out there watching, the ones who maybe are a bit nerdy at school, and yeah, okay, they're not child geniuses, but you know, yeah, it's of course it all.
Sorry, I was just
sorry,
going to say, where are his parents? Because we had Ruby's parents in the first episode for that finale, but there's a kid there with automatic weapons, and they're not anywhere to be seen.
That's probably why he hid it from them. If not, probably a little bit like, you know, you don't want to tell your parents that you're smoking, do you really? Like, you know, or that you've gone drinking down the bar with your mates. My mum's watching this, lol. It's that kind of thing. I feel like maybe he doesn't want his parents to know that he's shooting weapons. But I do like him a lot, though. I do. It's a nice addition.
Happily, he fared somewhat better in the end than old Sutek here. He bit the big one in a pretty major way, bursting into flames in the very time vortex that had kept him alive. And oh God, help me out. Nurse, bring me my pills, please, for God's sake. Okay, that's how it ended. Obviously, this is a whole season down now, and a third coming of Doctor Who. Had the classic series from '63 all the way up until 1989. New Who from 2005 to 2017. Really, let's face it, and then all new Doctor Who from 2023 to the present day. So this really needed to work. I think the jury is still out, but it's not looking good. There is more to come, obviously, but.
I've seen a lot for the first time in a while. I've seen a lot of people in the same consensus of disliking the episode, which is rare.
So have I.
Really rare. And these are people who were trying to be positive about it, and you know, and don't want. I've seen actual fans and who just sort of put up sort of tearful messages of sort of tweets and things saying that they hate being someone who didn't like this at all and cannot deny. And it just, there are people, I know people are trying to make it, it's kind of like making excuses. You're trying to find a way to rationalize the decisions made, but you can just accept it wasn't very good, which is what they've come to do.
None of us want this show to fail, do we, Chris?
No one wants it to fail. No one wants it to be axed. No one wants it to be disappointing. But it's just, but seeing so many people have the same feeling that they've all been let down and all been disappointed actually makes me feel comfortable, actually. Because as the series was going on, I had this a lot with the Jodie Whittaker era, you were sort of reprimanded if you weren't following it along. You were branded a hater instantly for not liking where
tell me about it, mate.
Oh, it was horrible. And
only certain people were, and the way I mean that, Chris, please do continue, but the way I mean that is that I didn't get flack when I said that I didn't like it. That's all I'm going to say.
I was vilified solidly for 4.5 years.
Any white male in there 30 and up,
that's what I was getting at.
Pretty much, yeah. Pretty much we're told, you know, you're wrong. You're either not with it, you're not moving with the times, you're sexist, you're racist, you're homophobic, you're transphobic, you're all this and that if you don't agree with the new. And really, it's really just the case that most people just didn't enjoy the thing, and we don't want to dislike something. Otherwise, what's the point in watching it? You watch it to want it to be good. I mean, I didn't want to. Yeah. I almost when I was really not fancying watching Space Babies and things at the time, but then I ended up watching it because my son wanted to saw it, and I was like, oh, bugger, all right, okay. And then we ended up watching that and Devil's Cord, and then I was kind of hooked in for Stephen Moffat's one, and I stuck along with it, even though many times I was going, maybe this isn't for me. This really isn't for me. and I didn't want to necessarily give
Horrible
up on
feeling,
it.
isn't it?
But yeah, and
Yeah.
but now it's kind of like, if this is the payoff for this, I don't really think I really want to see the next one. I won't be fussed about seeing Christmas until March, I think.
It's strange, Chris, because 7 days ago I was very hyped. I loved the Legend of Ruby
my
Sunday.
God, I was on the edge of my
Me
seat going,
too.
oh my God. Yeah, so excited.
Yeah,
I'm
like
so
this
glad it
is
wasn't
it.
just
This
me.
is what we've been waiting for. Yeah.
Yeah. And 7 days on, this is exactly how I feel.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's amazing, isn't it? It was such that finale from Legend of Ruby Sunday was so that ending 10 minutes was absolutely chilling and perfection and terrifying. Obviously it pleased me because I know who Sutek was, and it was, and I went, oh my God, are they doing it is Sutek. How did people guess this online? You
I
nuts.
know, isn't it?
Yeah, that blew
crazy?
my mind. Like, people called it because they said, "Oh, I thought I saw a pyramid in the background of a photo," and then they immediately went, "Pyramids of Mars." It's definitely Sutek coming back, and I'm like, "How are you getting this? Who's getting
Yeah,
these
but
ideas?"
Who fans are clever though, man. Like, people caught onto Celestial Toymaker so quick, and I didn't even know who it was.
I
And I was like,
kind
how
of
are you?
got that idea at the moment he was in a toy shop. The
One
that
thing I
photo
have
shop.
learned with this is, with regards to all the theories, and I was just as guilty of this. I was going, oh well, if it's Sutek, it's going to be ISIS and blah blah blah. I've learned now of RTD. No, it's not.
Yeah.
The most basic thing ever. And when you're going back to about, we want it to work, we love it. Imagine if we were here during the Christopher Eccleston series, or the fourth series of RTD's first run. We would have been buzzing talking about that non-stop, and that's what I want to be back doing. And it's the fault only comes from one source, and that's the people that are meant to be writing something that engages me and engages the general audience. And there's no hate there. There's no hate against the people. It's just write a compelling series, and I'm in. Simple as that.
Yeah, that's all it needs. It doesn't need to be a message. It does, like some of these episodes, it doesn't need to make a point all the time. It just has to be an engaging thrill ride that you just want to see what happens next. And, or when the story concludes, where are they going to go next? That was the fun of all the classics. And that is essentially the fun that they brought back in 2005, was this week they're here, next week they're gone somewhere else, and they enter a whole new world and everything. And that's the sort of vibe it was. There was no need to put an ending where they turned out to be a bunch of racists. There was no need for us to have a very very haunting 73 yards away woman following you, and then it just ends up in something on the style of Interstellar. We didn't need that sort of thing. We just want to enjoy. That's my biggest thing. Is I think I said last time I was here, I just want to enjoy what I'm watching, and if I have to, and I'm left, I want to then
We've got one last question. We've got one last question here in the live chat here, Chris. So just chime in with that. Ashvin asks, will any of us be getting the Blu-ray? Now, I'm generally speaking, I'm a completist when it comes to physical media. I do buy these Blu-rays. I bought the Steelbook of the anniversary ones. I've enjoyed rewatching those. I probably will buy this myself. I feel like I probably should. I'll watch even Empire of Death again. But I may wait for the sales, Prime Day or something like that.
I'm still waiting for the sales when Jodie's first season is actually down to about £10.
Oh, I didn't buy those. I'm not insane.
The last one I got was Twice Upon a Time, and I've not bought a single one since, just because I can't justify that amount of money for something I'm not going to watch again. That's the cost, and I still see that set of Series 11 for about £25, and I'm like, how are you still £25?
Well,
if you go down to a tenner, even I saw it in a CEX of all places,
from somebody.
Wow,
I know somebody who works in DVD manufacture and in that whole retail world, and the things hold their price like that when they haven't sold very many.
Right.
Generally
Interesting.
speaking, things get discounted quicker if they're big sellers because they want to produce more and produce more and produce more.
Oh, so it creates
They
sort
need
of
to
limited run sort of effect.
Yeah.
Is it?
60
Yeah.
quid for 8
Okay.
episodes. That's
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen the price tag on Ncuti Gatwa's season. Gary Aker speculates there in the live chat, Shah, that the Blu-ray of this episode of Empire of Death will include an 80-page booklet explaining all the plot holes and pulling it all together.
Gary, I want a flowchart. That's what I need. A flowchart. That's the only chart I understand. And I'll be very, very happy if that's the case. But even that, I'm not even interested if they explained it. That's what. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I'm not bothered. I don't care.
It's-
And
Oh,
if
it's
I'm
such a
being honest-
shame.
I'm not excited. Doctor Who will return. Great. I'm not. It's awful.
That's-
I've never
yeah.
ever had that feeling ever. Not even during Jodie's run, because I still will say that I'm gutted that they didn't have another female Doctor after Jodie, because it was almost like that they knew a woman wouldn't work when it could have if it was in a different way. So I was
God,
kind of
yeah.
a bit. I didn't want a woman to start with. When I saw it was Jodie Whittaker, not because it was her, I was like, oh, what for? Kind of thing. But yeah, even then, I was like, okay, I'm going to be on board for what comes next. And this is the first time where I genuinely could not give less of a shit.
Who found Dan
really
is in the
sad to
live
say.
chat and says Series 3 isn't commissioned, by the way. It has been commissioned. We gave you the exclusive story on that last week here at Type 40 Live. Series 3 has indeed been commissioned. And we've got Mike here says, I gave all my New Era discs to a charity shop, mind you. That is very, very drastic. Okay, yeah, we're going to leave it there for now, but keep your reviews, your comments and queries and questions. And if you can fill some of those plot holes for us, that would be greatly appreciated. Keep it all coming there in the comments. Doctor Who Season 1 remains available to stream on the iPlayer here in the UK and on Disney Plus in all other territories. We'll continue to chart its fortunes in the ratings here and in time there on Type 40 Live, as well as look ahead to what's next and what's next after next. It wouldn't be the same without you, though. Of course not. So please, yeah, you know what to do. Hit the cloister bell to get all the notifications about what's coming next from us and when.
So you went into a phone box with a mobile
They
phone.
phoned me, it was raining. It was pouring the rain, that's why. So I went in there to get
So you
shot
went
in the
into a
rain.
phone box and you had a mobile.
To cry in private.
I was hoping it was a TARDIS.
Swat.
I know, right.
One more thing.
please go
I'd
back.
almost forgotten one more thing. Yes, I just still like that. You like that clip?
Oh, it's
Yeah,
great.
very much like Free Mage when I wish she'd come back.
Yeah, they did tease that. Do you remember Andy Pryor and Russell T Davies were teasing the fact that we need her back? They said we need her back. Do you think that could be coming in the next season, John? Freema Agyeman back as Martha Jones?
Yeah, I think. Well, we've had Mal this season. I think they're going to do it again. I think they'll bring Freema back. I think that this, for as long as this goes on, the RTD2 era, I think that they'll bring back old characters regularly each season, and I think she'll be one of them. I think it's going to happen.
It's going to happen. It could happen. I'll tell you what's going to happen now. We're going to give you our last look at the view screen, a clear gaze through the time window there in search of the prettiest pictures from out there in the Whoniverse. Traditional art, digital art too, crafting and cosplay even. It's all fair game to get up here on the view screen for our enjoyment and for yours too. So if you know a fan artist you think that we ought to be aware of, either send us their way or them our way. Let's get some sort of dialogue going because we'd love to see their work. Give it a good old plug and get more people sent in the direction of their Etsy shop or their X account or Instagram, wherever it is they publish their artwork. Here's a great white pill to start off with. Right the way back to 1963 with this fabulous, I think it's a pencil portrait. No, it's ink or an etching of William Hartnell by David J. Mantello.
Wow.
That's very
Twinkle.
good.
Really like
He's
it.
got the
That is
twinkle.
talent. Yeah.
Isn't that fabulous?
That is fabulous. That's wonderful. Oh, I love that.
Not seen anything quite like this before, Shah. I like the higgledy-pigglediness of the outer lines in particular. It's a lovely job here by David.
Yeah, he's captured William Hartnell and the First Doctor really well. Really well. You can almost hear him calling someone ridiculous in that shot. Yeah, I love
Chesterfield or something like that.
Yeah.
Oh, Chesterton. Yes.
Yeah.
Fantastic, says Stephen Braddock.
Those lines with a look. Yeah. Good.
YW says, "Oh my God, that's uncanny. I love it." Melanie Weston says, "It's a great picture. Great picture." Yeah, people are loving this in the live chat over there. So it's nice to see a bit of traditional art, which is in black and white as well. I think it's a beautiful job, John. In fact, it makes me want to go and watch a Hartnell episode now.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I think it's lovely to see fans just embracing classic Doctors and sketching, creating things for classic Doctors, which shows that they're as popular as ever. So I just want to see more of this because these people are excellent, aren't they? They're so
incredible, isn't it?
Yeah. You can find David on X.
Yeah, okay. I'll find him. Not in a sinister way.
I will find him.
Not in a Liam Neeson way.
Kills us, John.
Yes. So yes, from the distant past, you think yes, it's great that the most classic of Doctor Who is still inspiring artists, but brand new Doctor Who is too. Check out this one. This is from Tom Hoskinson.
Wow.
And this is Sutek clutching the TARDIS. There, dry humping the TARDIS. Maybe there's a touch of Disney about this too, like proper Disney, like classic Disney movies, like Snow White or Sleeping Beauty. What do you think of this then?
Oh, that's lovely.
That's fab. That's an album cover.
Yeah, a prog band or something like that.
It looks like
I like it a lot.
Well.
Sutek's greatest hits.
Beautiful, really nice. 100% awesome, says Mark Milford.
Kneel to the might of Tom Hoskinson.
Yeah, people do like this. That's beautiful.
It really is going in my ears. I don't, as much as I'm not a fan of the episode, that is great. Love it.
It's nice to know that even in episodes that are stinkers, really, for the most part, at least stinker with a small s, that people are still inspired by it. I think Tom's done a really, really nice job there. Speculation here from Over the Overseer that it could be done with AI. I don't think it is.
No, that's too accurate, to be honest, for it to be AI.
That actually looks like Sutek is the TARDIS's protector in a weird way, because he's sort of embracing it in a way. I quite like that in my head canon now.
He's spoiled. He's going, no, this is mine.
Yeah. It's all mine.
Who fan Dan says, I bring you the gift of art in the live chat. Mark Milford suggests that Sutek is he is touching grass. There, he's taking Shooty's advice from a couple of months ago.
I like Peter Harrington's comment. Love that TARDIS, his plaything. That's great.
People do seem to like this. Yeah, we can. Every cloud has a silver lining. Yeah, love that TARDIS. Nice one, Peter. This is not AI, says the timescales. It doesn't put police on the TARDIS. Oh, I think AI is improving, so it is starting to do that, though. And YW says, so impressive. I wish I was this good at art. Yes, fabulous
Stickman
picture.
is my limit, unfortunately.
Daryl Joyce there elaborates it's digital, but it's not AI. Let's have one last one now with another regular artist. We look at their work quite a lot here on the channel, and they're very prolific over on Instagram and X. This is a new one, at least it's new to me, from Thizago Luga there, and this is a scene from The Unquiet Dead with Gwyneth and Rose Tyler there, where Rose is talking about going up the high street.
Perfectly, haven't they?
The look of indignation on Gwyneth's face.
Yeah, that's when she says, "Great smile, nice bum." That is that line, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's one you could see it like a Comic Con. You got that signed. You'd ask them to sign that one.
Yeah, I really like that.
Great.
That's the kind of art I like as well. The Disneyfied sort of look at the old
character.
Disney side. Yeah, love it. Love it.
Very
I'm gonna
nice,
have to go back and
lovely,
watch that
says
tonight.
Peter Harrington. Stephen Braddock said, I'd like that. I'd love that on a train shirt or as a t-shirt. Could be both. Yeah. I love that, says Fly Highland. Yeah, I really love this. I like Vizargo's work. This is the kind of stuff that I do. This is the field that I work in. And I do think the characterization is absolutely spot on, particularly with Gwyneth. And I love the colours and that kind of old animated style there, just as you said, Charlotte. It makes them both look like Disney princesses or something. It's cool.
Yeah, I like it a lot. Oh, I'm going to have to go and watch it. I love Rose in that episode. I think she's fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah, so do I.
And she looks gorgeous.
We have, what's this? This is from Peter Harrington. It's the fun nudge wink wink look. It is.
Yeah.
It is indeed.
Yeah, it really is, isn't it?
YW says, I love this one. Episode was good. And that's lovely, says Tony L. It is indeed lovely. Lovely, fabulous artwork there. Lots of different styles. We need more of it, though. Of course we do. So if you're an artist, digital or traditional, or any kind of crafting too, we'd like to get that work of yours up on our screen. Showcase it to as many people as we can here on the view screen on Type 40 Live. So get in touch with us. You can do that by contacting us. What's contacting? Contact us through our social media. Instagram and X at Type 40 Doctor Who. That's how you can reach us here at Type 40. Or you can cut out the middleman too. If you don't want to wait on that and wait for the next show or the show after the next show, then you can join the Type 40 Facebook group along with these ne'er-do-wells. So whilst they're chewing over whether it was the classic series that was best or the new series that was best, you can steam in there and plaster artwork all over the wall there and get some honest critiques from our friends in the Type 40 Facebook group. This is Type 40 live streaming to Rumble, X, YouTube and Facebook too, whenever we can here in our console room. More coming up, no doubt, very, very soon. Wow, what a show. Thank you for your company, Shot. Great to have you back as always. You haven't sneezed for a little while. You must be feeling a little bit better.
That hay fever literally was rolled up into one sneeze all day. So, yeah, no, it's out. I'm okay.
She's okay. She's still with us. Chris, fabulous to have you back, my friend.
Thanks for inviting me back.
Indeed.
That was very nice.
If people mentioned the last time you were on, people said, "Oh, it's that guy who did this or did that. He wrote this. He starred in that." Where can people? I thought, and afterwards, I remembered. Oh yes, I've heard that. I've seen that. Put two and two together, and where I've seen your name. So, if people are wondering where they've heard that voice or those voices and that name before, let them know. Where can they hear and see more from you? Where do you want them to follow you? And have you got anything coming out in the near future you want to tell us about?
I probably would do a few little bits here and there on. I'm trying to use TikTok for some things, but I can't get the time. Twitter probably the main way. At Chris Walker-T. Yeah, I do have the coming up for August is the novelization of one of the audios we did 10 years ago for Patrick Troughton, the Second Doctor, Freedom of the Daleks. That's coming.
Cool.
That'll be out then. It's a free download for everybody. Because if we charged, we'd be sued. So, God, yeah, that was a careful moment. I had a moment when I always thought I was going to get a cease and desist for like, because someone that said, "Can we do like physical copies of these CDs?" And we did a limited run and just sort of shared them. Like if someone wants them, like we waited till 10 people wanted them, and then we had 10 to give. And they paid just for the cost it took to make it. We couldn't stock them in bulk. It would just be too much of them, too much of a cease and desist thing. And I think at one point there was a bit of a warning, so we had to rethink a lot of things. Yeah.
Well, if you'd like to come back on and tell us about that when it is getting re-released, we'd be happy to have you back. Or just to come here and chew the fat and try and make some sense of whatever load of nonsense is coming out with the Vortex next time. There's always plenty to talk about in Doctor Who, isn't there, Chris?
Oh God, yeah. I mean, I'm grateful that you invite me. And the moment I just sort of come from watching it, and then suddenly you asked, "Are you free Monday?" And I was like, "Thank God!" It felt like being invited to a confession. I could finally speak out and go, "There we go, everybody." Because I'm surprised. I expected more of a backlash on Twitter for saying I didn't like it, and it's it's so nice to see everyone else didn't as well. Well, it's not
free
nice
speech,
free
speech, and free thought is alive and well after all.
Oh, it was just nice that I was on the consensus side for a change.
Well, we're happy to help and happy to have you back as soon as time and space allows. John, great to have you again on the show as always. Has it helped going through some of this again and sharing with other minds as well? Because we've talked about this a couple of times now, haven't we? And both Shah and Chris have had different takes than the guys we had on the channel the other night, haven't they?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think I'm grateful for you guys, you all on a Monday night, just helping me heal. Right. This is a nice, relaxing show on a Monday night. It's good natured, it's brilliant, and
your shoulders just feel
nice
lighter.
Yeah. I love these group therapy sessions. They are
therapy is over for the time being. Join us again next time, same time and space here for more hot takes, pet peeves, rants, raves, whatever else comes tumbling out of our mouths here at Type 40 Live. The season may be over, but yes, there is always plenty to talk about, plenty of playtime. So we're going to run around the TARDIS for a little while, for a few days, until the next one. But yeah, we'll be back here before you know it. We always have the time if you have the space here at Type 40 Live. See you again in a few days' time. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.